Hi everyone, Julie here, Inspired by Memories. This is our Wednesday, is our messy day, and it surely will be. I hope you enjoy the projects that I've put for you today. Please let me have some feedback at the end, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so the first thing I am going to show you is in fact mine. If anyone else has done it before me, apologies, but as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen it anywhere else. So therefore I'm going to claim it. Right, as you can see, the array of beautifully coloured tissue papers that are out there are amazing. You can even get patterned ones now, which is fabulous for this process that I'm about to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it quite small because I don't want to use up loads of 12 by 12. So what I'm going to do is for the next few weeks that we're doing this whole series, I'm going to be collecting samples of what I'm showing you. Excuse me rustling around. And then we are actually going to make a layout incorporating them over the following few weeks. So I'm going to start with these. I ordered these by mistake. I ordered 12 by 12 card. And this is what happened. So I'm going to use them up. So basically this is, and I think I've shown you it before, but not in this format. I'm going to do this on black card just so that you can see what's happening. Now you can either use white gesso or clear, it's entirely up to you. And you need to put a firm coat of gesso on top. Now there's two procedures that I'm going to be doing where we need gesso, so I'm going to do both at the same time, just so that we're ready for the second one. Now gesso is probably one of the messiest things I've ever found, to be honest with you. It gets everywhere. Now you want a nice firm coat of gesso across the page. It would have helped if I'd got a bigger paintbrush, but hey ho. So just put that there. Try to get rid of the paintbrush big strokes if you can. And this black cardstock that's underneath will be turned over and used for a layout at another stage. So waste not, want not being my strong point. Okay, so that's that one. Ready to go. And now this one. Now the only thing with gesso or gesso is the drying time. Now I was lucky enough to get a heat gun as one of my Mother's Day presents, so I don't have to wait too long. But the best thing to do is, which is what I was doing before I got my heat gun, is either use a hairdryer, which is no good for paint because it pushes the paint around the page, or literally do it the day before. So if you know you're going to be doing a page which you're going to need gesso on, then do it the day before. That's what I was doing. But then again, that does beg to differ on the inspiration front, is how do you know the next day what you're going to be doing. But there you go. Okay, so now that needs to dry, so I'm going to quickly dry those off with my heat gun. And I'm going to pause while I do that. You don't want to be seeing that. Back in a sec. There we go. Right. So now we've got two dry pieces. I'm just going to pop one over there. And we're going to concentrate on this one first. But this one involves tissue paper. And this can be done on a whole page or on embellishments, etc. So I'm just going to pretend that this is a whole page, and I'm going to use dark purple. So I'm just going to tear a piece off like so and fold back on. Now the thing you've got to understand with this as well is that tissue paper, you need a bigger piece than you actually think you need, because it sort of shrinks, dissolves. Now cream isn't going to show up, so we're going to go for a pale blue. this purpley blue would be nice. So we're going to go for that. And it's all size. There we go. Well, as I say, I've got no idea what this is going to turn out like. I have done this before, but on a much larger scale. So bear with me. It either does work or it doesn't. Okay, so the first thing to do is to cover your page in glue. When I say cover, I mean not loads and thick. Just enough for it to adhere to, especially on the edges, and then like a zigzag through. I'll show you how much you're looking at, sort of that amount. Okay. Then you want to screw up your tissue paper. As tight as you can. It really does matter. And then you're going to unscrew the ball, but trying to keep it as tightly screwed up as you can, like so. So then you're going to place this on the page where you want it. So we're going to go there, push it down. As I say, you don't want to unscrew the tissue paper too much, because that's the whole point. Okay, and then we're going to put this one right there. Now, as you see, I've totally gone on sizing. So you're basically just rubbing that in, and then you're going to give it a quick squirt of water, hence why you are using gesso. And then you're going to get some tissue and take as much off as you can by just placing it over the top. That's it. Now you can see that that colour is bleeding. Now there's two things you can do here. You can leave as is. Once it's dry, that is your design on your page, which is brilliant. Or you can do this, which is the point that I'm showing you today. It's just so lovely. Now, depending on what colours you use, depends how deep the pattern is. And obviously that has come out really well. If you leave it on too long, you'll have a lot of trouble getting the tissue off. However, sometimes leaving a bit on does look really nice. So it's a personal preference. So that's one technique that I claim as mine. As you can see, this one's getting a bit tough. Now what you could do is you could use this for embellishments. I mean, that's quite a leafy pattern, I think. It's also quite abstract. Or you could, so you can make a tag out of it. If you've done it on a large scale, like on a page, which I will do through this series, so that you can see. I mean, I've used it before many times, but actually seeing somebody do a page start to finish, it's completely different. Now this would be a lot easier with tweezers. I don't really want to ruin the pattern. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I say if you leave a few bits on, it's fine. It's I think on one of them I actually left massive pieces, and it was like a turquoise colour, the design, and it looked amazing. So obviously now you've got glue on now, so that needs to dry, so let's just give it a quick. There we go. Now you could have left the tissue paper on, which is another one of the things I do. So I'm going to show you that now. I'll use this. No, that actually does need to dry out, so we'll try a different colour. So that's one, which I say at the end of the week we will go through and make some pages out of the bits we... Now it's going to be a bit tricky for me because I'm doing them so tiny, but we'll make them together. Right, so I'm going to use a nice pink. Now you've already got gesso on this page, but I've dried it. You can actually use the gesso to stick it down rather than glue. So screw your page. Now depending on how patterned you want it, depends obviously how much you screw up the page. So again, I'm going to pop some glue on, a bit around the edges. Now if you was doing this on a 12 by 12 or 8 by 8 or whatever page you're doing, you would just glue the section that you're doing, whether it's a stripe. So we're going to pop this over, and this way before it settles. There we go. And then push it down. Tissue paper. And that's the effect, and I'm sure you can remember that effect on one of my pages. I do love it. Okay, so that's effect number 2. Again, it can be on a page. You just cut around the outside. I'm just letting them dry at the moment. So that's 2. The next I'm going to show you, let's just get rid of all these. In fact, I'm just going to pause just to tidy up and change over. Okay, so back again, and as you can see, stencils. Now, the idea behind this is to make some tags. So, I have got some modelling paste here, and also gesso clear and gesso white, and I've also got some heavy gel medium gloss, which I haven't used before, but I'm going to try that today. Now you can actually mix this with colour, but for the sake of horrendous mess, I don't think I'll be doing that today. So the idea is to decorate the bottom half of the tag. Now these are really nice large tags. I believe they were Heidi Swaps, and you get 4 plain and 4 patterns. So these plain ones, I don't like plain. We are going to put some kind of pattern on. So I'm going to yes, I think half and half maybe. Right, so for this I'm going to use the modelling paste. Now modelling paste is thicker than gesso. It's has to be applied with like a spatula, plastic or metal. I prefer metal. I feel much more in control. So just trying to work out which one I'm going to put on this tag, and I think I love these little things, these little ones. You get such a good choice, and they're so good. So I could, doesn't have to be huge decorations. I think I'm going to go with that. Now normally I would stick this down, but just to hold it, but it is so small, I'm going to hold it there. So place it on and smooth it off. Make sure it goes into all the nooks and crannies where it's meant to go. Maybe a bit more. There we go. Now you can leave it as thick as you like, to be honest, but for this particular pattern, there we go. A little bit closer. And then obviously I can decorate that in any way I see fit, but I will be doing it in front of you. Okay, so dab that and I will wash them later. It will ruin it if it dries. So you can either leave that as a single or you can apply something else. So we could add some what I call wordage. And I think I'll do it at an angle, like so. And again, just apply what you need. Try to keep it away from the edges. Push it in. That's it. And then basically just scrape it back off again. Now you could do this with gesso. In fact, I have done before I found modelling paste. But it doesn't give you as deep markings. Oh, no, it's not deep. That's not the word. Precise. There we go. Now, if you get any bits like that, you don't need, scratch them off. Right, I'm just going to pop these in some water so they don't get ruined. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so for my first time, I'm going to use this Americana Premium Heavy Gel Medium Gloss. But I'm going to use it as is rather than with a colour. And again, I am going to stencil a tag. Right, so I'm going to place it so that it's literally right up to the edge. And I will tape this because we don't want it to move around. Just with a little bit of washi. There we go. So it's a lot runnier. Than both gesso and the modelling paste. But I'm very interested to see what happens when it dries, as I'm sure you are too. So just cover that, trying to get it as flat as I can. I think we've done that. There we go. Wow. Just drop that in that water. Now that I like a lot. Hoping you can see how beautiful that is. See, it's not so bad trying stuff for the first time on camera. Oh, so dreading it. And just thinking up things to show you. You know, you're all really clever people and you've been doing this probably a lot longer than I. And I don't really watch process videos as such. I don't have the time. So I've just had to really think about what I do and how I do it to try and show you. So, okay, so we've got 2 more tags left and we're going to use them well. This is something that Bex Golden taught me. Well, she didn't teach me. What happened was she entered one of our crops. I'm just going to put some gesso on this page. She entered one of our crops, a couple of years ago now. And she had a fabulous time, and so did we, seeing her work. And one of the pieces of work she actually produced incorporated this technique. Now since then I've done a page using the same technique and I loved it. So this is for you, Bets, for teaching us all how to use up bits that we don't need. I'm so into scrap busting at the moment. I really am. So once you've gessoed that, I would normally wait till it dries, but I'm not going to at the moment. Just pop that in some water. What I'm going to do is clear that down. Now, as I say, normally I would let it dry. So I've got stickers or letters that either I haven't got any of the main letters, numbers, or I'm just going to use the numbers up. So what I'm going to do is place these as close together as I can on top of the gesso. There we go. Try not to get any two the same next door to each other, because that's boring. There we go. This isn't as easy as it looks when the gesso's wet. There we go. And they do sort of click into place as you fill up the spaces. So you continue doing this. I'm going to pause because you don't want to watch me do every single bit, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so there we are, crammed full, and even in the I've even put dots and dashes just to try and fill in it any gaps. Like we've got one there and one there. You just want to fill it up as much as you can. And once you finish doing that, now obviously they're already adhesive covered anyway, backed, so it's already a bit sticky, but now you've attached them to the gesso, they should be okay. So once again, we get the good old gesso. I'm going to take it off the lid here, and you plaster it on. Literally plaster it on. You want it as thick as possible, but still showing all the crevices. So this can take a little while, and you're going to do this about 3 times in between it drying. But as you see, you can sort of miss the letters or numbers by filling up the gaps, so you need to go back and sort of work it round to prevent that happening. So again, I'm going to pause to save you staring at me doing this for any extended period of time, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so now that's had one coat, looking like this, and as you can see, I've tried to keep all the crevices covered, but at least we can see the letters still and the numbers. So this now needs to dry. I'll speed up the process with the gun, but at the moment I want to show you something else. So I'm going to leave that up here for a while. So here I am, just trying to dry this off so that we can put another coat of gesso on, because I would like to get this finished for you today. So let's do that now. Just get my brush. So yes, normally, well, on the one I did last time, it did actually take 3 coats, but I did have some foam letters. Now if you use foam, it does take ages because they actually soak up the gesso, so I would recommend that you don't use those. And obviously if you're using coloured numbers, letters, etc., they're going to take longer to cover as well, just to cover up the colour. So obviously this is for scrap, so this is lettering that I've got left that I'm not going to be using, and luckily enough I had enough in white. The reason I'm doing a tag is for two reasons. The first is to keep it small so that I can actually finish the process for you in one session, and also because we are going to do a page every couple of weeks with what we've learned. I thought a tag would probably be the best option. So that's the second coat, and as you can see, we're nearly there. It's looking so good. Okay, so I'm going to leave that now, and I'll show you where we are with the other ones. This one is dry, and this, I'm absolutely amazed with this. It's so shiny. It's actually dry, but look at that shine. So I will be using that again, that's for sure. So just wipe down my surface and we'll move on to the next project. I've tried to think of as many things I can cram into this as possible today without boring you. So there we go. Now, I don't waste anything, as I've said before, so we've got all this on here. I'm going to use one of my squares, if I can find them. When I said, let's get messy, I actually meant let's get messy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just bring this over and put it down. Get some tissue, put it over the top. And we've got another great effect, which can be used. I mean, obviously these are to replicate a 12 by 12 sheet or your main page. So these can be used for whatever. They are shiny, so you can use them to make tags or make embellishments. It's entirely up to you, but I really like that. So again, leave to dry for both of those. This tag, I'm not quite sure of. I think it needs something else, but obviously I've got to embellish them as well. But it's lovely and shiny. I might actually put a bit more of that in this corner here. Yeah. And then a bit more of this teal. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Okay, so that can be up there drying with the others. Getting quite a collection. Right. Messy, messy. Now I will be using the Distress inks to age those a bit, but I need them to dry first. Okay, be with you back in a sec. Okay, so in my last kit, I got some of these tags, cards, water resist. So I thought I'd have a go at them because I've never done that before either. Oh, I'm such a novice. And I'm going to use my Gelatos, if that's how you say it. God, I'm in such a mess. I did say it, and honestly, the best way, I think, if you're going to cover a whole page in gesso, do it with your hands. I know that sounds really, really messy, and it really, really is, but it's so quick. Right, okay, so a bit of yellow up there, I think. And then I'm going to try and do some kind of like ombre sort of design. Whether it works or not, I do not know. So let's have a look. I think that's about, maybe I need a bit more orange in the middle. There. Right, now my husband bought me some of those water pens, and I didn't know I was going to do this today, so I haven't brought them in with me. So we're going to go with the good old brush. So starting at the top and working down. As far as I know, you should always go downwards. I'm going to try and merge that seam a little bit, as I am this one. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to keep doing it until I'm happy. Because at the moment, to me, it's too much of a line. It's getting better. Yeah. And I'm just going to pop a little bit more red at the bottom there, just to give it a darker look. There. Another one to let dry. I quite like that. So that can dry. Now let's have a look at what else we've got. Let's have a go at one of these. But this time, I'm not going to use watercolour. Even though you're meant to. I'm going to spray with Colourshine. But this is called Sea Foam. And I love this colour. It's hardly, you can hardly notice it, to be honest with you, but I just love it. So I'm just going to leave that there to dry for a second. And then I'll show you what a disaster that is. But, you know, it's running at the moment, so can't really finger right in the top corner, so that's ruined it. I'm sure I can cover that. Can you see? That red finger. Rah! But I do like the rest of it, which is good. So I'm just going to stand that on some tissue to soak that up and pop that over there. Okay, so one more that I'm going to show you, and I've shown you before, but I'm going to show you again, and I'm going to do it on a tag for you today. This is a heart that Katie, my daughter, scribbled out ages ago now, and we scanned it on to the Scan and Cut as a black felt tip drawing, along with a few other squiggles, and this is what it came out like, and I use it so much, so I thought I'd share this with you. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to incorporate this on a layout. So to show you it's on black, but I'm actually going to put it on white. So this is going to need a while to set. So it's going to be in the top left of the page. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape. This won't take a second. And then I'll show you all the bits and pieces. It gives them a bit longer to dry. So just hold it down a little bit. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have the Scan and Cut and the portrait, which I got for Christmas. So I love cut files. I haven't used the Scan and Cut for a while, till today. I sort of went off it, but I'm back on the game now. I'm back on the game. I'm back playing with the Scan and Cut now. So that's all nice and secure. The worst thing is for it to seep underneath, so you don't want that. So we're going to use, purely because I want a nice, deep, rich pattern, I was going to use modelling paste, but after seeing the beautiful effect of this medium, I'm going to use this. And let's hope that I can get a good finish. Okay, so smooth it out. See, this is the problem. If it goes underneath, it sort of ruin your pattern. There we go. And then next time I see you, we can do the next stage. I thought at the end of this, I'm thinking of a couple of months we'll do this for, unless you want it to run longer. At the end of this, we should have some really good things to add to our pages for the crop, which is on the 12th and 13th of May, don't forget. It's going to be amazing. Especially if we've got Cara now doing her thing. Right, okay, so I'm putting this everywhere I should. Even if I go over, I'm not worried because I can go back and get that. Just want it all nice and smooth. It's quite strange having it in a tube. I think that's because you're meant to mix it with paint, but I like it the way it is. I think it's beautiful. Especially when you see what I'm going to do with it. See, no wonder I don't sleep. I have ideas popping out my head all the time. And I just can't keep up. See, how do you meant to get that back in? I'm going to have to use it. I'll definitely be ordering some more of this. I got this from Louise Thompson Craft Supplies, one of our sponsors. And she did try and explain to me how you use it, and it went in one ear and out another. I use things I just make it up as I go along. Oh look, that is so annoying, it will not go flat, but that's about as good as I can get it. So now I'm going to take this off, hoping, please, it's okay. Obviously there's quite a bit of clearing up to do around it. Right, let's have a look. Yes, I like it a lot. And if I keep that straight, I should be able to use that stencil again, shape. So I'm just going to use a dishcloth to go around the outside. It's already drying, look at that. Now, how does this go? Well, this bit's not here, I don't think. Now, obviously, this is a shape that's meant to be as it is there and then placed on the page. So, whether it's going to work as a stencil, you know as much as I do. Definitely should have had gesso on the page. There we go. So that will be left now. Okay, so here is the work that we've done today. My mini examples of what you can do on a 12 by 12 page or 8 by 8 or whichever size you want to do. Okay, so the first one is the one we did with tissue paper and then we removed. I love this effect, and obviously the darker tissue you use, the better. Well, not necessarily the better, but the darker the results. Obviously I wouldn't have done that on a full page just like that. I would have made it into more of a pattern. Then you've got the tissue paper that was left on the page to give you that scrunched up look. What would be really great is to use lots of odds and to make a collage effect, which I might have a go at because I have got quite a bit of tissue. Then we've got the letters on a tag. This is inspired by Bets Golden, who did something on a 12 by 12 layout for one of my crops a year or so ago. And from that I have now developed this for a smaller tag. I've got one more coat of gesso to put on and then it will be decorated, probably with sprays and mists. Then we've got the Seafoam sprayed colour resist card, which has come out really nice. Then this is, first of all I did this one with the stenciling and then the two types of stenciling. Then I used the Mango Burst and the, which one was it? Colour Shine, that's what it was, Colour Shine. And basically I have merged them all in together, which I think that looks really, really effective. And then from that, it was all over the mat. I then put this face down onto the mat and got this beautiful effect, which can obviously be cut into an embellishment. Then I tried a new product for me, and it's beautiful. The shine on it is, I mean, that's completely dry now, and it's like glass. It's really lovely. And I will definitely be getting some more of that from Thompson Craft Supplies. This was Americana Premium Heavy Gel Medium, and it's well worth giving that a try. Okay, then finally I did a ombre effect with my Gelatos on textured card with colour resist wording, which has come out really pretty, and I will use that on a summer page later on in the year. And finally I've done my heart on my 12 by 12, ready for a layout that I will be starting next week with you guys. I really hope you like what I've shown you today, and I'm under no illusions that you lot know more than me. I'm sure you do. And I would never take anything off of anybody else. So if anybody has done anything like this before, apologies that I'm claiming them as mine, because to me they are. I've never seen them done, apart from the Bets, this one and this one. That's all I can accredit to anybody else, I'm afraid. Everything else is mine. Anyway, thank you for spending the time with me, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Any questions, please ask, and I'll be happy to hear your comments. Thanks very much. Bye.